Welcome back to the RKOX podcast. It is Wednesday, July 20, almost at August, July 23rd.
Yeah, you're right.
I know. I know what day of the week it is.
And the month, to be fair, and the month.
I know earlier I did say August. Today it's August 23rd, right? No.
Would everyone like their summer to be over and school to start? Anyone? That would be about right?
Yeah.
And just before, what, Labor Day?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, school starts in like 2 weeks.
We're really starting on an up note.
Kill me. Kidding.
We have a few things we're going to do today, some of which Kristi's not aware of. We are going to be covering some surprise topics for her. And also whether or not the universe is actually conscious enough to know, well, we're going to cover whether or not the universe is conscious and what might happen if it pretty much got a whack about that.
That was a fun conversation. Yeah, I can't wait to get into that.
Uh-huh. So, yeah, you have a good week?
I did. So far, it's been a good week. What have I done this week? I don't even know. So we've been in the climbing gym all week. I did get new climbing shoes. So my big toes are flat on the ends.
Good for you.
I know. I feel like a real climber now.
Yeah, because you have to take off your shoes.
I do. So everybody knows I can be a real pain in the ass sometimes. And the other day we were climbing, and it was one of those days where it's like, okay, let's get in and get out. Like, let's get it done. We're here to work out. We're not here to mess around. Like, let's get in and get the job done. And every time he would come off I just started climbing. He's a climber. He's been doing it for like, what, a decade now?
Almost a decade, yeah.
Yeah. So I just started climbing. And so I'm relatively new to this, we call it a sport.
Yeah, but you're not new to opinions.
To activity. No. Full of those. Anywho, so he comes off the wall. Every time he comes off the wall, he's taking his shoes off. And I'm like, so then we go to the next wall, and it's like, I gotta wait for him to put his shoes back on, and it's his turn because I go up and then he goes up. And so he comes down, takes his shoes off, and then I go up and then come down, and then I'm waiting for him to put his shoes on so he can go back up. And I'm just like, why can't you just leave your shoes on? And he's like, because they hurt. And I'm like,
you were specifically, to be particular, I don't see anyone else doing that.
I did. That's what I said. I was like, I've never seen anybody else taking their shoes off, on and off. And he was like, well, they do, just maybe not here. And I'm like, do they though? Because I feel like you're just being really dramatic right now.
Well, there's a lot of, the great thing about climbing is becoming more and more popular.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of new climbers. So they're wearing a lot of comfortable shoes. So like the rental shoes, it's like, those are slippers. And then
they are compared to
they're slippers. And it's like, and you really don't need to climb hard. You're not climbing hard. You're stumbling up the wall like a newborn baby deer. It's like, I made it. It's like, you did. There's no like turn your toe this way and put your foot here and twist and turn and
you just sloppily climb.
Yeah, you're just like
and then slip off. Yeah, like
sometimes every move is like you had a short stroke. It's like it's like everything's
yes. So he comes off the wall and I'm giving him hell and I'm like, dude, we're trying to get in and get out. Like, we need to not do this. Like, can you just leave your shoes on? And so okay. Then the next day.
Solution is to buy Kristi real shoes and see what she thinks.
So we bought Kristi real shoes, and Kristi puts on her shoes, and she was coached in the selection of these shoes by, professionals that work in the climbing gym and know what they're talking about. So I picked the shoes that accommodate my feet, right? Mm-hmm. And then after, I don't know, the first wall climb, I was like, oh God, I got to take these off. They hurt so bad. So now when I get to the bottom of the wall, I'm doing you. So I don't know if you noticed today, but it's like, I get to the top, tag out, and I'm just like I'm pulling the laces on my way down. They hurt.
Yeah. And you know what? It's so wonderful to see all the new people climb.
Yeah.
And they wear easier shoes. And
why didn't we get me easier shoes?
You got, actually, believe it or not, you would not believe how uncomfortable some climbers climb. They want to climb, like, they want to be able to get on the smallest chip, like literally half your fingernail. They want to be able to put their weight on it.
I just feel like that would rip my toenails off.
No, what it is so like you have the whole shoe, and the whole shoe has that sharp edge around it. And so that goal is is that your foot really just becomes a stump. And the smallest point, you could just go on the smallest point and put all your weight on it. And so you learn that you focus your entire leg to put all your weight on one point. So you're not thinking like the side of your foot, the heel of the foot, the toe of the foot. You're choosing what is the way that I'm going to put my little, like, how am I going to twist up the wall to grab that next hold?
Mm-hmm.
But the part of the shoe that's going to hold me is a part you would never think to use, but it's part of the puzzle. And when you start doing that, it's like you get down, it's like, that's why you'll see any significant climber that's been at it for a while. It's like there's no way. It's like you see them ripping off their shoes halfway down the wall because they're like, I do not want these on me.
It's every second that they're on my feet, I'm like, I'm so uncomfortable. And it's in the back of your mind too. Yeah. You know, not so much when you're climbing up because you're in it. Yeah. You know, you're in it and you're climbing and you're trying to figure out what move is next and how to do and how to maneuver and turn and whatever on the wall. But once you tag the top, the next move is like to tag my laces.
Yep. Laces.
Laces.
Yeah, you're yanking them.
I'm yanking them off.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I will go ahead and swallow my ego, which is, I don't feel like I have a super big ego. I think it comes out every once in a while. I'm really fighting the urge to give you a finger right now because you just made that laugh. I'm swallowing my ego right now. You were right. I understand. I get it.
This is recorded for everyone. This is like my new ringtone.
You were right. I was wrong.
You know what? Again, it's like here's the thing. You're very passionate about your experience.
Yeah. Which
is great to speak from. But the lesson learned here is maybe just observationally. It's like, it wasn't an adversarial like observation. It's like, here's the other thing. It's like a lot of the climbers you've seen are young. They're new climbers, whether they're old or young. And now you're going to be able to distinguish it. Anyone who's climbed a wall kind of hard, now you're going to be able to look at it and go, yeah, they're just goofing around. Or it's like, you'll be able to see serious climbers and not serious climbers. And it doesn't mean they're serious. They're just, every climber's chill and laid back.
Yeah.
And they're so inclusive. But you'll be able to see someone, it's like, if they're just not taking off their shoes or whatever, it's like, yeah, they're doing a couple routes today. They're going to go have a beer.
Yeah.
Whatever. And it's like, and it's okay. You don't have to like sweat it out every route. But, But when you see people like who are like really in the gym to like climb better for themselves or just like try something and challenge themselves, you know, and you'll see it and then you'll see the shoes coming off. It's like, oh, that's somebody I want to go.
Well, I can tell like when Blake and I go, there's certain people who like come in solo and they get on the auto belays, you know, and I can watch them and you can almost tell like they're training. Yeah. Like they're, you know, or they're just climbers, you know, climbing alone for the day or whatever. But I can tell like the ones that come in and get on the auto belay that are there for fun and the ones that come in and get in and they're actually training. And
then the whole other area that you haven't spent a lot of time in is the
bouldering. And that's so hard. And that's my upper body strength. And I know it's like, I need to, and here's my theory. The more time I spend downstairs, you know, like working, the easier it's going to be to go upstairs and boulder. But the bouldering is hard.
Yeah, so here's a sweet spot. There's like these cycles of when you get really into climbing, it's like who wants to do weights, right? This is part of life, fitness, bio, you know, like global living. Like nobody wants to just go.
Oh, and weights. I do want to say this. I've got to add this to anybody that's listening. If you hate the gym, I hate the gym. I absolutely hate the gym. I hate going to the gym. Behind me looking at my ass and I'm like, stop doing that. Or they walk around like the gym dudes, you know, the real big buff ones that just do whatever they do, you know, they go in at the gym. These guys go in and they walk around and they'll do like one set and then they're real loud with it and they're like, and then they walk around and they're like slamming their weights and then they slam the weights down so everybody in the gym knows their set's done, right. And then they walk around and they're just sweating and they're looking in the mirror and they're all like buffed out and I'm just, over it. I hate the gym so much. So I joined a women's gym, which I loved a lot more. My daughter and I went for a while to the women's gym, which was really great because it's literally just all women.
Right.
And nobody's looking at anybody. We're all just in there doing our job, you know? And so that was better. Probably the best gym experience I've ever had was just an women's only gym. But I hate the gym. So to anybody that's listening, if you are like me and you hate the gym, but you want to get like a workout in, or you want, because this wonder what his name is. But anyways, so I'm promoting physical fitness and ladies going to the climbing gym.
Yeah, it's a great way to not work. Like you don't have to do reps.
No.
You do endurance, you do power.
You don't even think about it.
No. And you're working every muscle and you're working every tendon. You're working really holistically, other than yoga, other than gymnastics. There's really nothing like climbing.
Right.
And then when you do boulder, so eventually, and because you just started, the reason I haven't brought it up is because it's not that you have to build up to it. It's just that what we'll do is we'll mix the two. So what we'll do is we'll maybe do 4 to 6 routes. We'll go boulder for a little bit and then we'll go back. And so what you do is you'll mix the two, or some days it will be like, screw it, let's not even bring in the harness. Let's just
maybe tomorrow morning when we hit the gym in the morning, we could do like 4 routes and then boulder.
Yeah.
Or maybe do 3 boulder, come back and do 3 more.
That would be great.
You want to do that?
Let's do it. Let's do that.
Okay.
Because that's a great way to learn, because you're building upper and lower body. The moves bouldering, they're shorter, but you're definitely working legs and upper body, but it's strength. That's the key thing about bouldering. It's not just upper, it's full strength building. And then, which this is a generalized, I think it's a bad statement to say that climbing up long walls or like rope work is all endurance. No way. It's power and endurance. It's both. And so, but if you're like it's almost like you're just lifting weights to just boulder. You're definitely doing more strength work.
Yeah.
But it's the combo.
Yeah.
And it's super fun because now that you have cool shoes, and the point was to get you shoes where like just enough about climbing where it's like getting you shoes was really appropriate.
Right.
But at the same time, it's like, it's like and again, now you'll see the people who are seriously at it. There's no way. And by the way, the shoes don't always have to hurt. They can be really, really uncomfortable, but they can be maybe like.
But when I'm on the wall, though, when I'm climbing up, I don't feel it. It's like I don't think about it. I'm not like, oh my God, my feet hurt so bad. I don't. It's not even a thought in my mind until I get to the very top. And then once I get to the very top, it's like as soon as I'm immediately trying to grab my laces. Like, oh my God, my feet hurt, but I don't think about it on the way up. I'm really just focused on what's next.
And it's really fun to be able to make a hold because you can now stand. How does that feel?
It's really good. It was fun. I did slip a couple times today, but I also noticed there were a couple of times that I put my foot on the wall and just stuck. Like it just stuck to the wall.
Yeah. You're like,
holy, there's not even anything here to stick to, just the wall. And I just stuck to the wall. And I was like, oh my God, like Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It was really cool. Yeah. I did notice too, also when you were on that 510 today, that black route, I was looking over to the left and they were on the leads on the way up. And I was thinking, I think that I want to do that. And the reason is, and I know that you're like how you feel about it, but the reason is one day Blake and I were in the gym. And do you know that part of the gym that, so if you're looking at the gym to the left side where we finished on that yellow wall today, so on that side where all the leads are right there, those 2 guys that were in the corner, do you remember the ones to the left? Yellow shirt, green shirt? No, I just noticed all the things. He was climbing up and clipping in as he was climbing up. And I was just watching as you were climbing. I was kind of looking over at him. And I think that I want to do it because that arch that you walk through, there's a red route in
That goes
there.
across, yeah.
And I watched somebody do that one day. I watched somebody, because it's only a lead route. Like there's not,
Right,
there's
yeah.
no rope, or belay. So he was like climbing, and then he was upside down, like climbing up, like he was like back, like up. His back was horizontal with the ground. Like he was climbing upside down, and it was so cool. Blake could tell you this. It was so cool that once he finished that route, everybody in the gym clapped. It was so cool because he was struggling so hard, and like he fell a couple times and had to get in. And when you fall, when you're upside down on a lead rope, it's a challenge to get
it's hard
back to the wall, right?
Yeah, it's hard because you can go 10, 15 feet
down,
and that's really hard. The objection that Kristi's talking about, my objection is that I don't think the safety of climbing. First off, climbing is, we're not designed to climb. We're not goats, right? And so that's the question. So if we're not goats, we should not actually be climbing walls to begin with. However, the safety aspect of climbing is because the lead part is like traditional climbing. The first time they ever climbed, they would actually take rope and they would put knots in it and they would bang it into the wall, kind of chisel it in. Like literally there's an opening, so they put a knot in a rope, and like this is supposed to, so if they climb above it, if they fall, that knot is supposed to catch them. And then eventually that became metal, like wedges and things, and you would stick it in the wall, and that became traditional climbing. So the simulation of lead is you're carrying a 60-pound rack of loops that you're pounding into stone while you're holding yourself up. So you're kind of doing it all one-handed, and then you're putting a rope in it, and you're expecting that rope to stay at that one point, and then you're going to climb above it and find another place to stick something in, and then actually make it not fall when you fall. So
I could see how out actually in nature would be much scarier, I think, than doing it in a gym, if that's the case. Well, like I think it would make me a little bit more nervous, I think.
And what I'm trying to describe is like, so you're in the gym, right? And when you fall, you don't want to fall. You don't want to burn up your leg. You don't want to get rope burn or whatever. But traditional climbing, trad climbing, so you're going up in lead. So lead is simulating this, and you're supposed to get to a point and put the rope in. And so there's another adrenaline rush. So what's happening is that you're like, if you don't make, and the worst feeling, the best, it's exhilarating, I guess, is you're upside down and you are pumped out and you want to make the next clip, and to have the clip in your hand and have the rope right at the point of clipping and not be able to get it and to fall. It is exhilarating. There's an adrenaline rush like you've never felt. And then there's like this game over frustration that you missed it.
Kind of like when you hit the wall today.
Okay.
I hate to like throw you under the bus or, share that with anybody.
Go ahead.
But so today we're climbing up that last wall. You're really struggling, right there at the very end. You were soaking wet by the time you got down, but you were struggling right there at the very end, and you went to touch the top one, and you were like this far from it. You were so close, all the way from the ground. I could see it. I was like, oh my God, he's gonna do it. He's gonna do it. He's almost there. And you were like, just grazed it, and then you went bam, and you hit the wall, and I was like, oh. Is that anger?
That was real mad.
That was real anger. I think that's the first time I've ever actually seen you angry.
That was pissed.
You were pissed. Like I've never seen you actually just respond like that before. I was like, oh my God, he's pissed. He just slapped the wall.
Yeah. I was pissed.
I know. I like that. I like the expression though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it was refreshing almost. I was like, oh my God, he's human. Look at that. Look at him being human.
I'm extremely human.
I know you're so human, but also you don't get mad very often. I don't think I've actually ever seen you angry. So we've known each other for how long now? 2 years almost?
2 years, yeah.
Yeah. I don't think in 2 years I've ever seen you angry.
Probably not. No, you haven't.
That's crazy. I wish I could say the same.
It's okay. It takes a lot for me to be it takes a number of circumstances, but when you're doing these routes, and the route I'm doing is like between two walls. So like for everyone listening, it's like I'm holding myself up, and at no point, this route was really well done. This route was, you had arms and feet on a sticky wall, but no feet and no arms, and sometimes only one hand or one foot. And so, and most of the route, it was my feet that were free. So I'm only holding up because I'm putting pressure both ways. So there's no like, and the grippiness of the wall was enough that I'm able to like, one, I'm holding pressure, but I'm also pushing out and up to get myself to get to the next hold. And they put the holds, the feet and the hands far enough apart that you only got a respite. You only got to get your foot up. You had to go like 2 or 3 feet to get your foot on a chip to then hold your other 3 limbs. And the only reason I'm staying up is because I'm pushing
on the wall.
Yeah, like I'm literally pushing. It's like, okay, this is how it is for everyone listening. It would be, did you ever, when you were young, did you ever like hold yourself up in the hallway to your house? Like you put your hands on both sides?
I did that. Or like climb your door frame. I used to climb the door frames in my house when I was a kid and get all the way to the top. I would climb the door frame.
Do it for 60 feet. That's what I just did.
Yeah, I watched it.
And the walls were, and the walls weren't side by side. One wall was out like that. One wall was out like that.
It was.
So I'm pushing.
Geometry.
Yes. So the geometry of it, it's like I'm only pushing. It was awful. It was awful. And so, so someone did this route so well done. It was so well done that there was no respite again for the last hold. It was hard. You did really well until about halfway up. And then when I was like, you're almost there. And then you looked down at me and you were like, what are you looking at? But I knew you weren't, but you were about halfway. So there was a little bit about halfway there. And then you were almost to the top. And you probably spent 10 minutes at the top. Just 10 minutes. It was, and you know what, doing these harder routes with you is great. And lead climbing and getting back to that, lead climbing is great. The thing is that what my objection is that in a gym where we can make an artificial human activity safe, you're taking the one, like for instance, there's a way to do lead routes where what they could do is they could pre-feed, the lines. So you would have a rope that's already in the carabiners where they're supposed to be. So you could do the upside down stuff. You could do all of it. And you could already have a safety line. So when you fall, you don't have to make the activity. So here's what happens with lead is that you'll miss a clip. And depending on the route and where it is, you could get twisted, you could get turned, you could get severe rope burn. I'm talking like 3rd-degree burns in a millisecond. Like the rope just has to go against your leg and it can... it's crazy, but you're taking what should be just a safety factor, and the route itself should be a lot like a spider thing. It should be like the safety shouldn't be the challenge. The challenge should be the route itself because the activity is artificial to begin with. So that's my argument, is that making the safety part of it as part of the sport is, I think, erroneous. Whatever. I just think it's stupid. It's like, why not just make it safe and make it so that you can climb upside down and not think about clipping? Just think about the route. Think about, can you keep your hands on the holds and can you not fall? So you'd still fall, but the clipping itself, there's a danger in it. You can actually, a lot of people shatter their knees. They shatter their ankles outside. They'll miss a clip and they'll swing down.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So when you swing down on lead, and sport climbing is where you're outside and it's bolted, but you already have the clips in. So you just fall like a normal route. You don't fall far. And that's really a lot better, sport climbing. But the idea, again, I just think that the safety part of it shouldn't be part of the activity. It should be just, I'm safe. So now my only problem is to go upside down over an archway and down. It's like, that would be cool if you could just do that.
Yeah.
And that's that. I think it's important though, because it's so exciting. I think it's really exciting.
Yeah, I do too. And also I think it's just important to like, I think that some of us don't really put attention to our physical fitness and how you're just increasing your heart rate and you doing these activities it's not just good for your body physically. It's good for your mind mentally, you know, and climbing is different. It's unlike any sport I've ever participated in because it is an active problem solving situation where you're climbing the wall and you are deciding every move you make where you're hanging back and you're looking and you're like, okay, so I see that I am positioned to go this way, but like everything is this way. So you got to shift on the wall and you got to, so it's just this problem solving thing.
What do you think of that?
Oh man, it's good for people that, I think that are super type A. I think it's really good for super type A people because when you're in the gym, I think that I don't know. First, I hate the gym. I don't know if I've been clear there.
The gym.
I hate the gym. I feel like not everybody hates the gym though.
No, but they don't know any better. And this is amazing, isn't it?
Yes, it's so good. So this is a really good way to stay physically fit and keep your mind sharp at the same time. You know, you're constantly problem solving. You're trying to stay on the wall. You don't want to slip. You don't want to fall. You don't want to hang. You just want to make it to the top, you know? And so it's just like, and every time you slip or you fall and you're just like, I'm like, I got to take, and then, I just got to let it go. It's because my muscles are just but what I'm noticing is the more I climb, the more active I am, the less I'm falling on some of these routes, the more I'm like, just today, for example, I focused on just 5/8 and 5/9 just for the workout of it. Right. Mm-hmm. And, but typically like some of these 5/9s that I've climbed, I struggled a little bit to get up when I first started climbing them.
Hard. The ones I watched the routes that you were doing, they were complex.
Right?
Yeah, they were technical. Which is good. They like that's where you train, right?
Yeah.
I'm wondering how did you feel about what's cool about, because when you do the 5/9s, 10As are very close to 5/9s. Mm-hmm. But they're now technical, so they require you to go. You can't just go left, right. Mm-hmm. What they're going to be is more and more. It's going to be if my right foot can be against the wall, but my left foot has to be out, or it has to be vice versa,
right?
In order for you to like grab the next route. Yeah. But it's just technical. It's not harder. But if you don't know how to do the move,
well, see, that's the thing. When Blake and I were in the gym last week, when you were in Minneapolis. I was on that 1/5/9 and I struggled. I only made it halfway up. I was worn out. I couldn't do it. My arms, everything was burning. I had no strength left, like to get up the wall. But I was really struggling because there was it was like an overhang, whatever, it comes out this way, like backwards. And so I'm trying to climb it. And what I've been taught is stay close to the wall. So the whole time I'm like trying to pull myself onto the wall and keep myself onto the wall while I'm upside down. Like I'm upside down and I'm slanted this way and I'm trying to keep myself on the wall. And so I'm holding tight to the wall the whole time. So by the time I make it to the over the hang, I'm just worn out. I'm burnt. I'm spent. I can't
Who told you to stay close to the wall?
You did.
Okay. So one of the things that I talked about is like hanging on an arm. So like when you put an arm up, when you're pulling, everything's engaged. When you hang.
I know that now. Yes. I know that now, but you told me to stay on the wall. So the whole time, every single wall I'm climbing, regardless of the route or whatever, I'm staying close to the wall.
Remember, but always use your legs first. Find your feet.
I got that.
Your feet.
Yes.
And then make your feet do the work. So make your feet lift you up.
So
and then long arms.
Right.
Always long arms.
Right. So
I did that for everyone.
Climbing the wall. After I think that David was watching me struggle up the wall.
Yeah.
And so after I finally made it, he was so sweet though. Like he didn't come over. He didn't say anything. He didn't intrude. He didn't interrupt, whatever. He didn't like offer any tips. He just let me do it. And then when we were leaving and I was pulling all my gear off, he was like, "Can I just give you a tip?" And I was like, yeah, like all of them. Do you want to make a list? Do you want to write them down? Do you want to email? Here's my email. Send it here. Here's my phone number. Text them to me. And he said, when you're going up that wall, because it hangs out this way, you need to hang and lean back on it.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, oh, okay, all right, cool. Like, I'm going to try that next time. So I couldn't sleep. I left thinking, okay, if I had the strength, I would have tried it like in that moment, but I didn't. So I go back the next day and I get on the wall. Just like until you get on the wall and you do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so there's no point in explaining the difficulties of. There's absolutely no point in explaining, hey, you're going to get to this point, you're going to get to that point. Yeah. So anyway, it's super fun. It's been super fun to develop this with you. So I have some surprise stuff to go through with you.
Okay.
As far as
I can't wait. So the reason why it's a surprise is because sometimes, so when we pre-show and we're prepping for shows and stuff, we go over all the things that we want to talk about or whatever. And so we started doing that today, and I get really excited. Sometimes like things get brought up, subjects, topics, whatever get brought up, and I just get really excited. And I'm like, it was a sort of a, okay, well, maybe instead of like pre-gaming,
okay,
we're just going to go at it. And so we're going at it.
So here it goes, because we're going to get to universal consciousness later.
Okay.
We're not starting with the universe.
Okay.
We're starting with
universal consciousness is coming though, so I'm excited about that because that's going to be fun.
Well, which is true, but we're going to start with some things that we haven't discussed yet, or we have not pre-gamed this. This is brand new to you.
Okay.
Archaeologists found an anomaly near the pyramid that may reveal an ancient portal.
Okay, repeat that one more time.
Okay, so I'm going to read you a little section of the article too. So archaeologists found an anomaly near the pyramids that may reveal an ancient portal.
Or it's Stargate. What's happening? Is it a Stargate?
Okay.
Does it have a shape? Is it round? Is it like this? Is it round? And you can what is it? Is there a shape to it? What's the anomaly?
Okay.
And why would they think it's a portal?
Ground penetrating radar.
Okay.
Has helped archaeologists identify buried wonders, which include a study from Japan. The Japanese and Egyptian researchers reveals the discovery of an L-shaped structure along with an accompanying anomaly right next to the Great Pyramid of Giza, although it's impossible to know for sure what the anomaly is. The researchers guess that the L-shaped discovery could be the entrance to a deeper structure.
Okay, now wait a second. So it could be a gateway to a deeper structure? That's just like a trapdoor in a basement floor that goes deeper into the ground.
Okay.
It's just a door in the floor.
Just a door in the floor.
So what are we looking at here?
Okay. You're right, because one of the points could be is that it's a deeper tomb. That's
Right.
their go-to. That's their go-to is that, well, it could be a tomb. But why not a Stargate? Because it's...
I know, but what makes them think it's a portal? Why would they say the word portal? Why would they say, because all of this stuff like coming, all of this news, all of these discoveries coming out, the structures under the pyramids, under Khafre, like it's sort of a thing, you know. Egypt's underground. Everybody, most of Egypt is underground, you know. That's sort of...
Yeah, and that's what's really not understood is that when we say that no, it's not buried in sand, it means actual structures underground.
Right.
Which that doesn't get clear enough for people apparently, unless you're...
So in that article specifically, why are they calling it a portal?
This is, I think, one of our first lessons about clickbait, is that you have Popular Mechanics, which is a great organization for information and science over forever. I mean, Popular Science has been around, I could be wrong, 50s, maybe the 40s. So now you have Popular Science doing absolutely incredible. I think that Popular Science is this is a great example of a magazine, of a .com that brings us all sorts of everything from quantum mechanics and all sorts of practical discoveries. It's Popular Mechanics, right? So there's no reason that we don't want to read Popular Mechanics. So the point isn't to be biting about Popular Mechanics. It's just that if you start with something like a Stargate, okay, yeah, that was a movie, and there's a lot of people who, you know, it's now gotten into the ether that the Stargate from Stargate is possible, which I'm not saying it isn't. It's just that you're leading on an article where they've literally found something that is absolutely possible, and that's okay. If you want to really make a jump for the sake of people watching an article, you know, like reading an article just because it says Stargate, that's fine, but that's not required when you've literally identified using ground penetrating radar an anomaly that is likely it's likely, well, a tomb or it's something. But the reality is that you didn't have to say Stargate for the article. It just, there's just many articles. And if we're trying to rediscover our past,
I feel like if I would have written the article, I would have said Stargate, though. I mean, I would have. Because the movie is a Stargate inside a pyramid.
Fair enough.
So wouldn't you? I would have been like, oh my God, guess what? Stargate found.
Okay, which is fine. Which is entirely fine. But you didn't need to say that if you found it, what could be the LiDAR ground penetrating radar to the entrance to a tomb, or that's exciting enough because they're finding all along there aren't just stuff like 100 feet below the ground. We're talking like
hundreds.
Yeah. Hundreds.
So do you feel like knowledge, information is being suppressed?
You know,
specifically Egyptian discoveries, I mean, obviously, we know that it's being suppressed everywhere, all over. Yeah. But it just seems as though that lately there's a lot coming out of Egypt.
Yeah. And again, Ben from Uncharted X had talked a lot about the machine bases. Christopher Dunn, him and his son, there's been specials, Ben, and now Michael, you know, the whole, there's been more revelations from the articles that have just come out from Daily Mail and whatever for the Bell vases. So you have machined 20,000 times faster than current lathing possibilities. But we're talking about refining vases that have openings the size of a pinky. And we're trying to say that, you know, ancient people did that with copper.
Mhm.
or
So let's be clear to those that are listening. what we're talking about is these vases. I wish I had like something, but the top in it, a lot of times these things were used for
yeah, and so there's a significant amount of machine and advanced tooling that is showing advanced work that is not possible with copper. It's not possible manually. It's not physically. The machine is consistent with what would be a computer run lathe, and that's not something that can be avoided. Even though the father of Egyptian archaeology, Flinders Petrie, was you're in the midst of the Industrial Revolution. So there weren't machines that did anything. So every machine, I don't think people understand when there's a new iPhone with some features or something. Now there's technology across the board. So you're looking at technology and they're like, hey, there's this new little thing that allows me to comment, or the way I edit a video or something. There's just very subtle features, volume buttons. There's things that we just take for granted, that the technology for your iPhone or your Android is so particular now that there's these appreciations for individual features. Back in the industrial age, literally there was no machine that would fill in the blank. There's no machine that would do X, Y, and Z. There's no machine that would, everything was new. Everything they invented was, no one had ever done it. So when you're Flinders Petrie, which is a man in the Egyptian deserts finding core samples of rock and stone, and there's spinning, the stone was, there was something that went in and bored 4 feet of stone, the hardest stones. I mean, andesites, granites, all sorts of, andesites, or some sort of crystalline structure. And they're counting, Flinders is counting during the Industrial Revolution, counting the revolutions and saying, listen, we know how to cut stone now.
Is that, wait a second. Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Is that why they call, that's not, no, okay. That was the dumbest, I'm not, never mind. Go ahead.
Okay.
Continue.
So makes me wonder, but.
Well, I'll ask you later, or I'll tell you what I was going to ask later, but I'm definitely not going to do that live.
Okay. All right. So Flinders is observing that, okay, hey, and it would be the same for anyone in the average newspaper to read, well, hey, there's this new machine that does X, Y, and Z. And again, everyone had creatively figured out how to do it manually and physically. There weren't machines. The machines to do the things had not been invented. So when you're cutting out solid stone, and they're like, well, listen, we can make so many cuts, and this is the spirals on this core sample, and therefore the step pyramid, what's considered the first pyramid in Egypt. The step pyramid is it's primitive, but below ground for 90 feet is advanced megalithic structure for over 140 feet that we're aware of. And it's extremely smooth. It's extremely well made. It's extremely, just the surfacing, the polishing, everything about it. Key important thing about the step pyramid is that in the base was tens of thousands, and I think the estimate is 60,000 vases. Some of them were made out of extremely fragile, solid quartz. But when we say solid, it's not a single substance. We're talking about crystalline pieces within the surface. And someone took a block of it, different sizes, some of them tall, and they cut openings where water or something we poured in as wide as a pinky. And then it was machined so fast that those individual quartz pieces were never touched. they didn't shatter. So like if whatever was cutting the stone away could have just grabbed a little bit extra quartz or crystal within the structure of the surface, which some of them are machined so thin you can see your hand through them. And they're so well made that not only so light's going to go through them, you can see through them, but they're made out of the most difficult stones on earth, and they were cut with impunity. They were cut as if it meant nothing. They were cut as if they were butter.
It's just like an everyday thing. This is just what we do and how we do it.
Yeah, and that is exactly the problem. Then is that you're observing work that isn't just it's the type of stone. It's the revolutions that you can now count because they're there. You can count the revolutions, so you know how fast the lathe would have to spin to make that revolution.
Right.
And right away, Flinders is saying, "Well, this is problematic because he's what people don't realize. He's learning about machines and what they can do in real time, but he's immediately applying that knowledge in real time."
Yeah.
To machine things that are from antiquity, and then it's just overlooked. And it's irrefutable because we're talking 60,000 vases of different size, of different types of stone. Someone dumped them in the bottom 90, 100 feet below the surface, below the step pyramid at Saqqara. And it's like, okay, well, we found a bunch of vases. So when Matt Bell, makes the news, and well, let's rewind. Like when Ben from Uncharted X does his multiple series on his channel with Christopher Dunn, who's an aerospace engineer, doing the actual measurements of, in order to, make a vase, you have to be able to make the revolution. So you have a square, and their point is, in order to have the science to make every side in order to make this vase, and you're thinking, okay, well, this shape, it's a shape. So the point is the opening at the top, whether it's this big or whether it's the size of a pinky, from the center of that opening, in what was a volume of space, to have a center, what is the bottom. So if the top to match the bottom, so for this circle to end at the bottom, takes extreme precision geometry. And we're talking millions and millions of a 16th to do the work of these vases is scary. And that is not the only thing. So again, the Great Pyramid's 1/60th of a second off of north by north by south by south. And it's on a ley line. And so the precision, the type of technology, the type of culture.
Wait, but for those that are listening, can you explain what ley lines are?
Yeah, so there's these natural power lines. There's these electromagnetic grids that are within the entire Earth, that if you get closer to them, they just seem to be natural energy. And well, they're either natural or they're programmed energy lines within the planet. And that is something that we just assume, oh, well, it's natural, and it's just a coincidence that people built a temple in line with that, or a sacred place. And yeah, it's not that things aren't sacred or special temples, but originally when these constructions were made, I think they were part of a power grid. They were part of a communication network. They were part of an information system that used this natural energy line instead of having artificial power that we run through power lines in the universe or through the streets. I think they were using these really low-level power systems to transport information and energy through a system that was ultimately destroyed in some way, which of course isn't really the point right now. I should be telling you news stories right now. That's what should be happening.
What's the next one? You had more than one, right?
Right. Yeah.
And we still have to get to consciousness too. So
we do. We don't have all day. So
I mean, we do, but
we do.
But everybody else does it.
I want to break the mold because part of being conscious and living today is I thought this was slightly timely, and we didn't get to it recently, so I'm going to bring it to you now. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Rainmaker CEO.
I already know. I'm sorry. I already know. This is what happened. You don't even have to repeat it. I already know. Don't tell me. Don't tell me. Okay. This is what happened. Rainmaker CEO. So what happened? What had happened was
Okay, let's hear it.
So that's a serious. So can we, for just 1 second, we definitely need to acknowledge
It's awful.
the seriousness, the depth of that tragedy.
It's
There were
awful.
they actually in that, and I know that you know this, but for anybody that is listening and doesn't or isn't hip with the news, it actually washed away a church camp. Two boys, ages like 6 and 9, grabbed the hands of her boys. The force of water. There wasn't anything she could do. It just washed them away. It washed her two boys right out of her hands. It reminds me, I have literal chill bumps. Like, I don't know if you can see these things, but I've got chill bumps. It reminds me of that movie that it took me to finish the and her two boys are on a beach in like Singapore, somewhere in Asia, Thailand.
Okay.
And this tsunami hits and everybody's laying out on the beach. Can't do it. I just can't do it. So I don't want to talk about this situation and what I already know you're going to say without acknowledging the gravity of the loss of what just happened in Texas. And so from us at RKOX, you're in our thoughts.
Yeah.
But outside of that,
so to what you're.
But good try.
Okay, well, so the title of the article is Rainmaker CEO breaks silence on weather modifications role in Texas flooding, and a weather modification company has come under scrutiny after claims that its cloud seeding operation may have contributed to catastrophic floods in Texas. And then, of course, we get into all the tragedy of it and his, whole point. When asked whether the silver iodide rainmaker injected into clouds could have supercharged the deadly storm, the CEO was blunt. Absolutely not. Remaining in the atmosphere, no, not that either. He explained the aerosols used in cloud seeding dissipate within hours after rainfall is triggered. Dispersing it in open air, it would persist longer, he did add. But anyway, their whole point is that it wasn't doing what it was. But for a minute, I thought I could catch you with that one, but clearly I couldn't.
Good luck. Next.
Okay, fine. This one's going to get you. 4,000-year-old leprosy genome unearthed in Chile.
Leprosy.
Well, so in this case, a groundbreaking genetic study has overturned long-held assumptions about the history of leprosy in the Americas. Chile. So researchers have reconstructed the ancient genome. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. A rare cause of human Hansen's disease from 4,000-year-old human remains in Chile, revealing that this debilitating illness was already present in the Americas long before European contact, which was reported in the Max Planck Institute, which is great. Think Schrodinger, right? Anyway, so this discovery challenges the widely accepted view that leprosy was introduced to the Americas during the colonial period, suggesting the Americas hosted their own unique strain of the disease thousands of years ago. Now, before I go further, Creighton Miller, and the idea
I really like him.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So now we have this opportunity to, as an example, there's the Bay of Enforajars off of Brazil. So if you're going to Chile and you've been traveling around the world, you've clearly been exposed to leprosy, you've been exposed to a bunch of diseases that allegedly were not exposed except for when the conquistadors came and then when we colonized. So we now have actual proof that leprosy was already there. The only way for that to be possible is if there was already boating and mercantile shipping already in existence. And we have Phoenician boats.
Oh, this goes back to Michigan copper.
Uh-huh.
Ah, interesting. Okay. So it's transferred.
They're already going south. They already know to go to the Michigan. They already know to go to Chile. They already know to go to Belize. They already know.
What?
So it's clear now the diseases are showing up in the mummies to also correspond with the copper that's being found in England. Just saying.
What does that mean for us?
I think it's further confirmation that everything that Miller and the people we've interviewed and what's been said all along is that the travel between continents has been thousands of years longer than we were thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And what's weird is the pauses. So clearly there was a pause by the time the 1500s when Cortez and the other conquistadors are coming to Central and South America and the Americas, and the diseases they brought. So what would be curious to me is the initial measles outbreaks in the Dark Ages, and I'd be really curious to figure out what is the pause in exposure to shared diseases continentally between the Phoenicians going to Upper Michigan for copper in the Bronze Age, 4,000, 3,000, 3.5 to 4,000, 5,000 years ago. Where's the pause that genetically they're not getting, they're building the South and Central Americans and the Americans are indigenous cultures are not building any immunity to the strain of measles, the things that smallpox, the things that were being brought by European colonists. So I believe it'd be interesting to find the sweet spot between, it's not a sweet spot, it's a tragic spot between what possibly annihilated 92 to 94% of South, Central, and North American indigenous people.
I have to stop and ask you though, why that number? Where does that come from?
They make it up.
Who makes that up?
Literally, academia, and there are quotes on it. But here's my objection to it: you don't have a body count. You literally don't have a body count. So for you to say, well, 92% of the population in the Americas was killed by disease, it's like, well, because you know what the population is, and you guys did a survey and like checked with all the people in the crowds that were doing buffalo herding, or how do you know? How would you know? You don't have any.
Mhm.
You don't have any bones. You don't have specific genetic codes. You don't have a grave count. And so for you to say, okay, well, there was X, Y. Well, first off, when I was in school, this was the estimate. There, and again, there's no academic. This is the this is the gradable school education. 6 to 9 million human beings lived from North America to Argentina and Chile, to the tip, to going to actual Antarctica from Chile. 6 to 9 million people. Now we have enough LiDAR scans to prove that there are hundreds of millions of human beings that were on all the continents on this side of the ocean, and living in metropolises much larger than what the Dark Ages were doing, and or what, I don't think we entirely appreciate how big the Roman and the Greek Empire was. So truth be told, the Mayans definitely, and the Aztecs and the Central, South, and North American cultures were significantly bigger than we thought. So for them to say 6 to 9 million people when we know it's hundreds of millions based on LiDAR scans means we don't really have a clue. So the idea that what we do know is Cortez, or when the original conquistadors came, they were able to do what they did because they thought they were Viracocha. So, you have a few hundred Europeans able to subjugate possibly tens of millions of Mayans because they thought they were Viracocha, because they had beards, they looked like their god. If it wasn't for that, they wouldn't have got in, but they got in, and the strain of measles and things that they had, that was enough to kill, it looks like maybe tens of millions of people, that they just didn't have the immunity for it. So on an up note, maybe I should move on to the next article.
I don't know. That kind of reminds me of that, I don't know if there's just one. There's only maybe one that I hear about, but maybe there's more than one. That island full of indigenous people
the Murder
Island. And they literally, like, if you and I try to just sail up there in a boat, we'd be like shot with arrows.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They would just murder us. They don't even care. They don't want it.
Yeah.
And what you're just saying though, is the reason why, is because they know we bring in disease. They know that they have not built the immunities to the diseases that we've been exposed to, and built immunities. And we've had, vaccinations, which is also controversial, but, we've done these things. And so we've built immunities, and we have these things that they don't have. We have antibodies they don't have. And so when people pull up, they're just like, hey, people.
Maybe they just don't like outsiders, but it is extremely frustrating for an outsider who has modern knowledge of disease to think, I'm going to go to an island where everyone there has zero exposure to all the things we look legitimately.
Do you feel like maybe that's like a consciousness thing though? Because I do feel like the article that I read about the person, the guy, I cannot remember the details, so I could misspeak. I don't know. I don't want to speak too much on this because I can't remember the details. But I want to say the guy was young. He was
like you're not saving them, you're actually you're harming people. But that's the case. So I just think it's interesting that the proof comes up that they're actually hey, surprise, the Phoenicians brought it, or or there were the Greeks, or
yeah.
clear travel and connection to Central and South and North America way before we're giving it credit for.
Mm-hmm.
And and granted, if most of the Bronze Age was run on copper out of Michigan, great, but it doesn't mean that they were only going to the Americas, or if it was only one-way trade, that there weren't goods from the Middle East or the Mediterranean that weren't traveling to Central and North and South America. So clearly, I'm sure there's going to be times where we're ultimately going to find more goods. Obviously, we didn't have ocean-going vessels, shipping containers.
So I know we're going to move on to something, but I have
a question.
Yeah, like just a thought, an idea, something that maybe. And so then we're reincarnated. So what happens if we're reincarnated and then we just choose, because maybe we get the choice of free will. And since time isn't really a factor in the afterlife, if time isn't a factor, when you're pure consciousness, then you can choose when you want to go back to it, because there's not really a when. It's just a this, And so what if you choose this to go back to? And what if this happens to be in the past? And what happens if you go back into the past and then you create new things based on your evolution from your experiences collectively? And then you create new things, and these new things that you create in the past materialize in this dimension because there is actually no time. And so as we're making these present discoveries, right, in our present time, that maybe we say, okay, well, I've evolved enough to this point. I think that I can help humanity in this way. And so I go back to this point in time and make this contribution in order to help the evolution of humanity in the future. Ooh, what if it is just this big soup of, you take time out of it and it's just this big soup of of evolution?
So
do you think it's possible? I said all that to say, do you think it's possible? Do you think it's possible that we could go back in time, reincarnate, and choose to go back, and then we take the evolution and the things that we kind of know and remember or feel? Maybe we don't have the memory of this experience, but maybe we have like the feeling of this experience, and maybe, we create things and then it just materializes in this dimension. Okay, thoughts? What do you think?
One, do you think that there are multiple dimensions happening at once? That would be my first question.
Absolutely, yes. I'm pretty sure science has proved that, right?
So why wouldn't anyone in any dimension at any time? Why wouldn't every version of everyone in every dimension agree on a solution? Or, why?
I mean, could you imagine like everybody in this current dimension that we're living in agreeing?
So that's my point, is that if you have an infinite amount of dimensions with all those possibilities, what would be your individual motivator to go back either in your own or any other dimension to change anything?
Well, maybe it's because, okay, I think this might lead into the conversation that we had the other day in the car, because maybe it's because, hold on a minute. Let me give me a second. Let me formulate these thoughts.
Okay. Here's the concept. The universe is conscious. It's ever expanding. But while it expands, it's also getting old, but it's also young. Is it possible for the mature universe to desire a unique individual experience as, for instance, a human being or an alien? Whatever. Alien to us, but maybe present to some other of the trillions of planets. So is it possible that the awareness and singularity, if you want to call it that, the collective ethereal conscious universe could get so big that as it's expanding anew of itself, the conscious awareness of the central universe could enter individual states of existence? So, i.e., plants, birds, animals, humans.
Me, you.
Yeah.
Right.
You and me.
Right.
Is it possible then for the existing at any one point conscious universe to put so much individual expression into an individual that it would forget itself and lose itself?
Okay, now this is different from the conversation we had on the way to the coffee shop, which we did drive an hour and a half to get this. I don't even remember that.
Ooh, you know what? I don't know either.
Because I feel like it's close to the line.
I don't know.
It doesn't matter. And on the way there, we were having this conversation, but that's not. It was so that I like better. If there's so much expression put into one individual, maybe it could lose. Is that what you were saying?
The idea that the universe collectively has a consciousness, right? But then in order to have an individual experience, it gives a little bit of itself into that individual. Like,
right.
What's a question?
Which is reality, right? Like that's kind of what we believe. Right. I mean, you and I, like not the whole world, but you and I believe
Yeah.
that's what happens.
So if the entire universe, see, my assumption, or what I think one of the assumptions we made was that, well, the universe retains its collective consciousness,
Mm-hmm.
puts a piece of itself into an individual, but in its entirety doesn't forget who it is. So we were talking, and the idea came to mind.
What if the universe gets so big that it loses itself? What if the universe gets so big and so sparse and so spread out in so many different... Oh my God. What if that... Hold on a minute. Oh, what's happening in my brain? Is that what's happening? Is that what's happening? Is that what... Guys, somebody help me here. Is that what's happening? Are we... bloodlines, like we could chase these rabbits all day long, right into the holes, and we can just follow it forever. But what if it's not even about any of that? What if it's so much bigger, so much grander? What if we are... So what if we're the universe remembering... We're trying to remember ourselves as the universe. Oh my God, that's what we're doing. We are trying... This is happening in real time, guys. I don't know if you're watching this, if you're hearing it, but I'm covered in chill bumps from head to toe because this resonates so deeply, because I think it's truth. We are trying to remember who we are because we are the universe. Oh my God, Deepak.
And we forgot it. We
forgot.
Individually and collectively, we forgot. So I think there's two layers to the forgetfulness of it.
Okay, so let's talk about the one layer. So the layer that I'm referring to is me physically as an individual on the planet who I don't remember where I came from. I don't remember all of these things. And I'm having to navigate this as, like I wasn't raised in church. I found church in my early 20s. And then I became a mission leader and a youth leader. And I did the things and I plugged in. I did religion. I did all that stuff. And then I unplugged and decided I'm a spiritualist and this is what I'm doing and all of this stuff. And I'm navigating this life experience as a human on the planet, trying to remember, right? Because we don't actually remember where we come from and we don't actually know where we're going. We have these ideas. But we don't actually know. Yeah. So what if that is representative of the universe forgetting itself?
So on that note.
Oh my God, this is so fun. Okay, tell me.
So on that note, if you were a conscious portion of the universe that had a question.
Yeah.
But you forgot that you had the question.
Yeah, okay.
So then you come up with your own questions.
Okay.
So you were originated at some point by a universe that knew it had a question. So you exist.
Because I was the question.
Right.
Like the question, basically the universe has a question and then bam, a soul is born. Like we got to go answer this question. That's the way the universe answers questions, is like souls are just
going to help. But what if the universe got so drunk or gone from itself that it forgot what the question was? But what if you,
Boy, isn't that something we've all experienced?
And then you, as the individual, one, you're the physical embodiment of the original question, but because you have nothing behind it, conscious of the question, you now have new questions.
Well, and I also have this like dissonance in my body because I was born of a question trying to solve a problem.
So what's happening is by not remembering the original question and by having new questions, you're now feeding back to a loop that didn't know it had that question to begin with. So not only are you not answering the original question, but the very consciousness that's supposed to be there to ask the original question is too confused or can't remember what the hell it asked when it had you be born. So,
but how do we justify a conscious universe that cannot maintain its consciousness?
Therein lies either a paradox, or if you want to be Nietzsche, if you wanted to be dark about the philosophy of existence, you could begin to then argue what's the point if you have an author that is off the rails and or is drunk or
but we can't consider that though, right? Like we can't consider a drunk creator. Like we can't consider that maybe the creator wasn't drunk at creation, but at no point, I mean, think about it.
I think
as a conscious person, as we grow and develop and evolve and become more and more conscious just through the existence of being on the planet, right? So we're becoming more and more conscious of things. So the more and more conscious you become, the less and less what's the word I'm looking for?
Can I paint a picture for you? All right. So here's the thing. So
I have to ask you first. Are you thinking about this like before we've discussed it? This is just like off the cuff. Like you're just now like.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Just wondering.
But part of it is like, okay, not to for where we are with things.
Yeah.
This is what happens when we're where we are.
Sure.
Then this is what evolves.
Okay.
I think.
Right. Naturally. Just in conversation.
No, this is real time.
Yeah.
It's kind of like discovering a route. It's like figuring out how to do it, but we're doing it together.
100%, guys. If anybody was wondering, this is not scripted, not rehearsed. This is just.
Because you can't believe we're talking about it in real time.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
You're so fun. So.
I know.
So. Let's paint a picture. The universe has a question that creates you.
Yeah.
Universe expands, but universe has so much going on that it forgets the question that it asked when you were created. At the same time, you're an individual who originally had a motivation, and there's this let's say the universal consciousness is the ether. So everything's ether. But there's actually consciousness behind it, but it's busy expanding and becoming young and old and whatever. But so when it asked in all the dimensions, the question that it asked when it by generating you, But because it's so far beyond it, it forgot why. So wherever it is at any one moment, in the moment that you exist from the time that you've gone, what if the paradox and one of the problems is that...
Hold on, pause. For the people that are listening, I just want to make sure we're tracking. So what you're saying, and I'm asking for clarity here so that I can make sure I'm staying on the same page with you. What you're saying is, if the universe asked the question, and then here I am as the question, right?
Right.
And then it had so many more questions after that it forgot this question. It forgot me, which I forgot myself.
But which now you have questions.
But hold on a minute. What if that's the point, though? What if the point of this is to forget and remember? What if the point of existence is to remember where we come from? What if that's how we evolve? Is the journey to remembering, the journey of remembrance?
What if the assumption is over time that you become a better person, or you become more conscious, and that over time there's a value to that time?
Mm-hmm.
What if in the speed, by the way, we don't know the speed by which the universe expands and becomes more conscious and asks new questions? So what if you are not only an old question, what if because you have new questions, you are the universe's static?
Oh, no, I can't be the universe's static because...
But the universe has new questions, and it's created new questions.
I know, but the universe is so big and so expansive and so complex. Why can't it answer multiple questions at the same time?
What if in any life period? So what if there's only here and now, right? There's no past, there's no present. Do you see where I'm going?
No. But what if there's multiple universes? Like, what if there's multiple...
There multiple dimensions in the universe.
No.
States of
no, when we say like a creator, what if there are multiple? What if there's not just one creator of things? What if there are multiple creators?
Multiple consciousnesses, the ultimate source, more than one.
Multiple sources that create one source that creates the ether. Like, what if there's multiple sources? So, but how do you keep track of all of the things? But you know what? We're thinking from a human brain.
Right. So we're doing our best.
Okay. So here's what's happening. We're running out of time here. And I think that this is a wonderful stopping point to pick up next week and continue the consciousness conversation next week, because I'm going to be totally honest with you. I need time. I need to process. I need to think about some of the things that we've talked about. I need to sit back and let it like wash over me for a minute and figure out how I feel about it, because truth resonates. And so when you sit with it long enough, you're just like, oh yeah, this is true, this is not. And I feel like I just need to sit with some of these ideas for a minute and figure out like if I am actually the answer to my own universal question.
So we will continue this discussion post-show.
Yes.
In the meantime, thank you, CKC, for sponsoring us.
Yes.
And really, everyone who's joined us, thank you so much. And for those that listen on any of the podcast catchers, thank you for joining us. And I think we need to move your mouse because I can't use mine.
Oh, here you go. We will see you guys next Wednesday, same time, August, whatever, July 30th, 31st, 29th, whatever date it is, next Wednesday. We'll be back next Wednesday, guys.
Thanks.